Okay, here we have a traditional board game. This is a board game that uses cards. So there's no dice involved, but there's randomness with the cards. We will show how a game like this might play out. Okay, the person may draw first. Okay, cannot enter the board. My number doesn't let me enter the board either. Good. Okay, so far I'm watching someone else play a game because of the way the cards are. And then I get lucky and get an ultimate card, which takes away all the other person's hard work, so that way I can steal it right underneath them. But this is how a typical game plays out. You're not really in control, you can't plan, you just hope something happens in your favor. And that's a typical board game by cards. Okay, this is another type of a board game. It's traditional with a popper. You need a specific 6 to be able to enter the playing area from your home base, and the object is to go into the finish, which is right in front of your home base. So you have to go all the way around, and then you need exact numbers to go in to the finish by using the popper. If you pop a 6, you may have the privilege to pop again, which lets you keep playing. So you could pop multiple 6s and virtually keep playing. So this is how a pop game is played. Okay, that concludes our pop game. This shows that it can be very frustrating just to get out to play the game itself. Now, it's fun once you get out there, but we're not going to spend a lot of time to show you. It takes a long time to get into the game. Sorry for the pause. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to save it. I'm glad I didn't. Once you get to know the spaces on the board, you can estimate how far without counting all the time. I'll use my 1, go in, use my 6, and go down here. Now that's actually a good spot to be because they can't go backwards. So that's a safe spot as long as there's no one coming up behind you. Apparently I like 2s lately. Alright, I'll reserve the 1. I'll use it because I have one reserved. Might as well put them there so that way I can use it later. since I have a 2, I'll put them there so for future use to go into the middle. The middle is a crucial part of playing the game. Since it's a 6, I'll move my fox straight into the finish because from the corner it takes 6 to go to the finish. It's a nice big one. Okay, I will use my 1 to get in. Roll again. And I'll use a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a safe area. 4 will get me home. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, I'll just move a little closer. And then this turn I'll use my 1 to enter. Be next to the safe zone. If you have foxes in a row, it's easier to catch someone trying to go across. It gives you more options and numbers for your foxes to jump. Use a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes that's good, so you have another fox to cover behind him in case somebody comes around to jump him. You can be able to threaten to jump him back. This is just to finish up. But during the game, you would think a little differently because there's other foxes around the board that could threaten your fox. But this is just a demonstration of using the dice and how to get around the board. Now, 1s are nice to save. Now, if you're playing partners, you put the dice on the outside, reserve. That way your partner can use that one and only that one. If you already had one in reserve here and they wanted a 5, you cannot switch the reserve so that way they can use that number. They can only use the one that's been placed and it's locked in there until it is used. And then you may replace it once it is used. And again, you can jump your own fox. So if you get a number that's big, you can go over your fox and go where you want to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also jump over an opponent's fox. It doesn't do anything to the fox, but you can pass them. Of course, you can land on him, but that removes his fox back to the start. And then the reserve, I have a 1 and I'm in. And that's a quick demonstration and a couple pointers on how to play the game. Okay, this is a demonstration of the reserve areas for the dice during the game of Crafty Choices. One of the key factors of the game is that you have choices to hang on to a number that you rolled for future use. This is worked by rolling the dice, liking the number, and putting it in a reserve spot for the future. And that takes up your turn, and then later when it's your turn again around the board, then you may use this number to be able to do it for that turn, so that way you can use it, and at a 1 you can roll again and then either use that number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or reserve it for future use later, the number on the top of the dice. It is not a reserve spot to re-roll the dice, but it is to reserve the number that you just rolled for future use. And that is the correct way to reserve the dice in the game. Now, to reserve a dice, to put it on the end, is reserved for a partner or you to use in the future. But you cannot switch out reserve spots during the game to try to take a number you like better, such as like a 2 that you need to jump somebody, to put it on the end, and then your partner can use that to their advantage. That is not the way it's used. The one on the end is locked to that spot until somebody uses it, but it can't be switched amongst numbers already reserved.